Alright guys, HyDra again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day. So far, OpTic ran a $10,000 1v1 tournament last night across multiple different games and some familiar names coming out on top. But the big highlight to when the two teammates, at least currently on OpTic Texas, came to blows on Halo, prior to getting absolutely world-starred here by the world champion of 2018. Very much interested your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. Of course, it was April Fool's yesterday, so lots going around on that effect. Such as probably this from the Los Angeles Thieves. There is something to say today on Rostermania. Basically, everyone on Thieves tweeted this yesterday at various times in the day, so the feeling was, well, is Nastie dropped, is Slasher coming in? But then Jacob, actually no, maybe it was exactly the same time they tweeted this out. I don't really know, but basically everyone on Thieves tweeted this yesterday, so I don't think they're going to make a move beyond what we believe they are doing. In fact, it's been confirmed, right? Afro's gone, Thieves is back in. Whether they make a further move at the end of the day with Asim and Slasher and those guys available on the market, there is a possibility of further roster changes here than we presently believe. This also from Heretics. Real is on his way out there to the US as it stands, over to Miami. Will he join the starting team? That is the question. To me, it seems like a bit of a no-brainer. Their team did, to be fair, improve in the final online stint, but they went to LAN and got slammed again, didn't win a map. They are 0 map wins, 12 map losses so far this season. Real is one of the better Spanish players. Yes, he played on Ravens at the start of the year. He didn't set the world on fire, but Clay still feels like clearly he's a good player, like they would have kept him if they got the visa situation sorted. Possibly, TJ came in, did a stellar job, maybe they were going to get rid of him anyway. But still, of the Spanish players that are available and that don't have beef, it seems, with the Heretics guys, of which there is some internal Spanish politics with the team with Super and Yako and Rencor and those Sucri, those players seem to be in a little bit of a different situation. I don't know whether it's like a Barcelona versus Real Madrid thing, but anyway, Real is out there in Miami now. Whether he actually comes in, I don't know. I think Vikul might have been talking about this on stream, implying that no, they're going to try and stick it out with their roster for now. But even if Real doesn't immediately come in, he's absolutely there to put pressure on those guys after dropping JurNii recently to get their act in order. Because if they start and they don't do so well, you know, ErikBooM had a tough time during the Stage 2 qualifiers and the Major itself. That is probably the player that I think is most likely to be gone. But confirmation yesterday from Vivid, he's out of there. Not sure we've had confirmation yet from Awakening that he's gone. But it's an official decision here from Rocker that Vivid is a free agent, not restricted free agent, it doesn't seem, not on the bench. This is completely dropped, which to me is a pretty big surprise. Awakening gone, Illy in, if that is what happens, makes a lot of sense. Or even Awakening gone, Gunless in, or, you know, just somebody else in that role, because Awakening hasn't been performing, and they need some kills at the end of the day, and Awakening wasn't delivering them. But from an SMG side, to me, the Vivid-Lins partnership was going pretty well. Vivid is, at least to the eye, a talented player with lots of upside. And yes, he has his flaws as a player, but I do think that he has helped enable Lins to some degree. Bringing Stanley in, as is the rumour for Vivid, bit weird to me. Stanley doesn't play anywhere near the same way that Vivid does. He's a slower player, like he likes to take routes a little bit more. Yes, he'll get you more kills, but is that going to work as well with Lins as Vivid has done? I don't really know. So whether it's like a cultural thing, whether it's like a chemistry thing, because, yeah, not to keep Vivid on the bench at all and just to drop him says to me that, yeah, internally things just weren't great there at Rocker, which probably makes sense. Ever since Vivid made that mistake on that Karachi control, flying out the window for no reason, dying to OpTic Texas, and bringing on that ridiculous reverse sweep they ended up pulling off, that might have been the moment that sealed Vivid's fate in this team, unfortunately. And, well, that doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon. Elsewhere in Rostermania, though, it doesn't seem like Asim is going to be walking into another CDL team yet. He is now going to be back on the FaZe back team. Tough for Asim. Like, look, I've made my points clear on Asim. I think he's definitely a CDL caliber player. I think he has lots of very positive attributes that teams could employ. But there's a reason why he gets dropped from multiple of these teams. He's a solid player. He's a good role player. He's a good gap filler. Is he like a superstar level player? No. And I don't think this decision from Boston is massively surprising, although it is an admission from their side. They made a big mistake selling Asim in the first place. The thing I feel bad for Asim for is that after winning on FaZe back in Boston on the challenger side, he had some other options. Probably he felt like Boston made the most sense. to just get dropped on his neck a month later. So that's tough. But the FaZe back team is going to be Exceed, we talked about yesterday, Brack, Asim, and Rex to close out that roster. We also have this team. So this is interesting because Donny 10-bit seems just going to be back with Spart, who they were teamed at the start of the season. Then Temp went his own way to team with his own group of guys. That didn't really work. So this team on paper, pretty damn nice. Spart, Vivid, Prolute, and Temp. That's a new Challengers team going forwards. So we'll see if those guys can deliver. Unfortunately for these players, now was kind of the time, I would say, at Miami, because after the Major 3 playoffs, or let's say the Major in Toronto, there was basically no time before the Major 4 qualifiers. Not to say teams won't still make changes, they probably will, because if you suck at Major 3, then you're probably going to not make champs. So there will still be moves, there is still a chance for these guys this season. The feeling as well is that FDOT is coming into war, so that means that, yeah, Beans to Boston is going to be a thing, it seems. And look, I think Beans deserves more credit for his stint in the CDL than he got. To be fair though, this year, there's no snipers in play, and Beans was a very valuable player with that weapon in hand. Is he incredibly talented from a raw gunny perspective? Yes. There's a reason why we used to call this guy the EU Dashy. And I definitely think he can do a good job from a slaying and aggression standpoint and just having impact on the map compared to what they had previously. But to me, in my head, I'm thinking Slasher and Beans as an AR duo makes a bit more sense to me than Beans and Priestahh does. But the feeling is that Slasher maybe wasn't happy with keeping Snoopy around, Priestahh maybe was, and therefore, well, the rest is history, as it were, and Slasher is gone from the team, as is Asim. So that is presumably happening. We also, though, have this, also, that aBeZy is presumably teaming up with Gunless, Dakan, Classic, and Challengers. So that was the team with 04, and 04 might be in the league. That's the feeling that 04 potentially to Surge, might be like a straight swap there with 04 coming into Surge, and RC's going here to this team from Challengers. RC's and Gunless teaming together as well is kind of cool because, of course, they teamed and came up together back in the day on a United. And honestly, fair play to RC's actually going for this if this happens, because my feeling was that RC's might well think, you know what, I'm too good for Challengers. My stock is still at a point where somebody's going to give me a chance at some point, so I'm just going to bide my time. But I don't know if that's necessarily true anymore. Like, I think for Slasher, that is true. Slasher will get another chance just based on his relationships and the fact that he's a good player and, you know, obviously won events last year and stuff like this, won an event in Boston. But for RC's, I'm not sure the goodwill from the pros maintains until now to such an extent that he feels like, you know what, going to Challengers makes sense. So I think if he does go for this, commendable decision. Whether he delivers results, that, of course, is another question entirely. But we've got to talk about the FanDuel 1v1 face-off that OpTic Gaming put together over the last couple of days, and this was just a sensational tournament last night. Round of 16, with all of these content creators and players of various games playing in, you know, Halo, Apex, and COD in best of 3 situations to determine who the superstar gamer of OpTic really is. So this bracket went through. There's a few highlights to mention here. Dashy versus Formal, by the way, was an absolute banger. So they did Rust 1v1s, and for like the Halo guys are kind of OP for stuff like this. It actually makes a lot of sense that the 2 players that made the finals here were the 2 players that had won multiple championships across both Halo and Call of Duty in Shotzzy and Formal respectively, right? So this was a really close fought affair between Formal and Dashy here. It was great to see like how seriously these guys took this as well. Like it was obviously for fun, but at the same time it was also, you could tell they were locking in, and it was the same thing between Scump and Kenny as well when they played. So Dashy had to lock in harder to get the dub on Formal on the Rust 1 versus 1. This though also caused a lot of talking points because Shotzzy did beat Karma here in the series, but did actually lose to Karma on the Call of Duty. And Slacked, I'm sure, was loving this, because you remember Slacked made that point the other day that if your coach can't gun you in COD, then you can't respect him, and therefore his look at this guy, his points are meaningless. Karma, man, what a player, you know. Going from playing RuneScape and Tarkov, whatever this guy does all day, to just spawning into COD and beating one of the most talented players in the game in a 1v1. And as Slacks probably accurately says, you know what, like, Shotzzy is going to see this thing down, like, Karma gunned me, like, here we go, it's DV3, that's the 3 time. And I'm sure part of this as well was Karma wanting to prove to his daughter Bella, who's like a big Shotzzy fan, that, you know, like, he owns him type thing. And so, yeah, apparently Damon said to Bella, I beat Shotzzy in a 1v1 at COD, and Bella's like, yeah, I saw, but didn't he go on to win the entire thing? Which is true, especially based on the series against Pred, we'll see in a second. Scump versus Kenny as well, they had a crazy 1v1 here on the Rust. It went went all the way to, I think it was, 9-9, and then Kenny wins this final gunfight here on Scump to close out the rounds, and so Kenny eventually takes this dub 2-1. But this was the clip I wanted to share here from the Shotzzy versus Pred battle, because here we are on Halo, and Shotzzy was just world star with this guy. Honestly, Shotzzy is better at Halo than he is at COD, as far as I'm concerned. Like, if he went back to Halo, he would probably be a top 3 player in the game, and maybe he's up there in COD as well, obviously he is. But some of the stuff that this guy does on a game with, like, no aim assist on the hipfire is absolutely unbelievable.
It's that angle now, though.
It is so trolly.
Yeah, this is pretty troll.
He only has 12 bullets.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh! He's got a minute left in the match.
So
Up 1. He's got to get out. Get to cover. Get your health.
Play cheese,
He's playing up top. He's playing up tight. Shotzzy's going to shout. He's got it. He's going to soar at him. He's going to soar at him.
Oh, he's got him in a box right now.
Yeah, what is Ant doing this?
He's waiting. He's waiting. He's going to
No,
soar at him.
he's
He's
gonna
waiting for the right
fly.
time.
He
wants to know exactly
can't
where
resist
he
the
is.
urge. He can't. Oh!
Let's
The
go,
first
Arnold.
upset of the tournament.
That's crazy. That's Oh my god.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Here we go.
GG. In the air.
Oh my god.
Yeah, those lineups are they're just gonna get handed to you.
God. Are we serious?
That's why you don't
Don't
jump.
do it again.
Oh my
I'm a little bit.
Neck and neck.
Could we see a crazy comeback?
Ooh.
No.
GG.
Shotzzy takes the dub. What a match.
What an insane match. God damn.
With the trophy and cash in hand.
Wow.
W's in the chat. GG's in the chat.
GG. It's
Damn.
Shotzzy. Your 1v1 face-off presented by FanDuel Champion. Great plays
you,
out of
fam.
him
How much is that?
all
How much is that
day
for
long.
first?
The money's calling. The money's calling.
How much is it for first?
It's still calling.
5K.
So what second? 25?
25.
How much did I get? That game?
Pred was understandably mind-blown at what was going on here. Like, this poor guy could not catch a break at all, and Shotzzy just completely slammed him here. So if you guys aren't aware, Shotzzy was obviously a Halo kid before he came to Call of Duty because it made more sense at the time, and arguably very much still does. But Shotzzy has mentioned the possibility of going back to Halo in the future if things actually were to make sense on that side. He even mentioned, I think it was, last year, the year before, that he was trying to play the Halo World Championship in the off-season, but it wasn't really going to work out. But he won the 2018 Halo World Championship with Splice, then he came to COD, then he won a World Championship in COD in 2020, obviously, and maybe it's kind of fitting that in the end it was formal, Halo World Champion, Call of Duty World Champion, the same thing for Shotzzy, that matched up with each other in the final. So Pred was like, yep, you know what, fair play, Shotzzy, just got absolutely trick-shotted there. And Dashy was saying a similar thing. So I know that in the finals, Pred was pretty keen for Shotzzy to get the victory because it's like, okay, fair enough, you beat me. You deserve to go on to win the entire thing. But yeah, some crazy moments here. There were other moments as well. So Shotzzy versus Formal in the finals, such as this flick that he had, went all the way to an Apex 1v1, I'm pretty sure, in the ends, where I think it was Shotzzy that got the victory, right? So yeah, he takes over the championship. GG's, takes over the 5 grand. And as Formal says, damn it, second place in the 1v1, I legit have negative Apex movements. Lots of fun though, of course, and some great reactions here from Shotzzy as well. So I certainly saved all of this stuff. Actually, yeah, there's a full gif of this where the money is kind of calling him. I mean, look at this guy. It's pretty funny after what Drazah did just the other day. So this is the full bracket if you guys didn't see it yesterday. Scump made it through Pomage to the quarters. Then he lost to Kenny. Kenny then went down to Formal to make the grand finals. After beating Dead Zone, then of course we saw that Dashy versus Formal game that Formal eventually won. And on the other side, Pred made a nice run to the semis where of course he lost to Shotzzy, who had taken down Karma, who had taken down Bose in the very first round. So that's how things concluded. Very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.